Well, hello folks, welcome back to BG Model Workshop. We are doing a final on our buddy build with our good friend Papa Dan, and we did the 1/12 scale 1957 Chevy by Monogram, and wow, what a kit. Definitely, definitely not for the faint of heart. There was lots of issues. I know that our friend Dan had some issues with his as well, but for us, there was some fit issues, and it all happened to be with the chrome. Everything else pretty much went together okay. We did have a little problem with the rear axle being kind of bent. We warmed that up and then reshaped it so that we could get more of a straighter axle in the back. But let's give it a little spin here. And yeah, this is such a large kit. You're going to see my hands. If I was to use my little BG pointer, he would be extremely small. We wouldn't even see what he's pointing at. Let's take a look at the side since we're already here. First of all, we wanted to do the white wall tires in the stock hubcaps. And the red on the hubcap, that's just some red Sharpie. And then if we look closely, we'll have a body color bead around the outside here. I had noticed on some photographs that I've been looking at of original cars that a lot of them had wheels that were painted the same color as the body. So we did that. We did a small little bead around the chrome hubcap that's supposed to be part of the kit, and did a body color bead around there. And I like the look of that. I really like how that looks. It looks like we could pop that wheel cover off and we'd have a painted wheel behind there. But we won't, because that's not how the kit is. I do want to draw your attention to one thing, and that is the fitment of the hood. We're having a little bit of an issue still. There's an issue with the hood, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But I did want to point out that, yeah, that's a problem. We did hand paint the script on the side there. Didn't come out too bad. For my skill level, I'm pretty happy with it. And then we did also pin the mirror so that, and I've already bumped it once, so it's already been a good investment in time. We did do some bare metal foiling all around the windows and the sides, along the top of the doors through here, and then a big slab of it down the side there. And I'm all out. I'm all out of bare metal foil. That cleaned me out, this guy did. So go around to the front. And that monster grill. So the key word for this build is epoxy. I have never used epoxy on a model build before, and this one has about half of a Bob Smith Industries container of epoxy on this thing. For the front bumper, the upper lip on the hood here, that's epoxied on. The headlamps are epoxied on. Just these parts are just so large that just trying to put some CA glue on stuff and hold it in place while it sets up wasn't working out. And then while we were transporting the kit from one end of the house to the other, just to make some space on the hobby bench, the whole front end fell off. So I epoxied that back in place. The rear end is all epoxied on also because CA glue just wasn't going to be strong enough for it all. Again, the door handles and stuff, I did think about pinning those. There is a tiny little locator hole that's just on the forward end of the door handle, and then there's nothing else to guide the other end of the door handle, so I was kind of swinging in the breeze. I figured we'll stick them on for now, and if we have any problems in the future, we'll drill it out, put a pin in, and then move on from there. You might notice the difference in the sound of my voice, and that's because we're actually filming in the living room. There is not enough space on the hobby bench to do filming this beastie in any justice at all. So we've reset in the living room. The acoustics are terrible. You're probably going to hear the air conditioning kick in because, yes, it's supposed to be 87 degrees today here in Arizona. We did add on some aluminum tubing for the exhaust, and I do think this one is a little bit long on this side, so I might have to pull that off and shorten it, but everything was going okay. Interior, we've seen videos of the interior and how well that was turning out, the engine and everything like that. And then we did final assembly with the body to the chassis. That actually went fairly well. Then we got to the chrome, and stuff was hitting fans. And it turns out, you see how badly this fitment is here. So if I was to do this all over again, I would actually strip all the chrome, sand it all, because it's just, I mean, you could say that it's authentic pitting, but the chrome just isn't that great. Uh, there was a lot of flash on the chrome here and there, and I thought it would be best if I had just stripped all the chrome and then corrected the shape of the chrome, because this rear bumper here, it flares out. It's actually kind of cockeyed. So this cheek up here sort of flares out away from the car. It does that on both sides, which is a little disappointing because we get this far in the build and really thinking everything's going just fine, and you start doing the chrome up, and it's like, that's not gonna work. On the back side, right here on the bumper, you see this little square or rectangle, I should say. That's actually a piece of transparent. Um, uh, it was like a headlight lens or something from some other build, and I actually painted the edges of it silver and then glued it in place right there, because on the real cars there is a light buried inside that bumper that's supposed to shine up on the license plate. I always figured there was some sort of light tucked underneath the whatever that's supposed to be, the flying V or whatever that's supposed to be called, but under that piece of trim there. But turns out there's actually a light down below that shines up. Why did I put a light there? Well, did I want to be that authentic? No, no, I did not. I put that little guy there because that's right where there's a mounting lug for the for this gigantic piece of chrome on the chrome tree, and I cut that as best I could, but the red plastic was still bleeding through. So I tried giving it a couple dabs of paint. I didn't like how that looked. So I decided to go with the little lens idea, and I really think that turned out pretty cool. Around the backside, again, bad fitment issues over here. We'll get some light on that here in just a second. But yeah, it's just not happy. I'm just not happy with how that looks. The front bumper fit a little bit better, but still not awesome. We'll go up to the front here again, and we can see that there's a gap right up in there. So there was very little mounting surface for the bumper onto the car. It was like the molds or something have failed or whatever, and these cheeks flare out from the car, and you can't correct that and leave the chrome intact. So that's one of those things where I would have to strip it, reshape it, and then re-chrome it, type of thing. So there we go. Getting a shot of the interior is going to be not simple, but we have seen the interior in other videos, and I've gotten a lot of great comments on that. So I thank you guys very much. So we're going to try our best to get underneath the hood, and we'll tell you why this hood isn't fitting so good, and that is because this could also lead to why the chrome didn't fit so well in the front, and that is because this fender right here sort of seems to be tipping in this way just a touch. Not much of a way to correct that at all. So we're pinching the hood right in here. And of course it fit perfectly before I had put on layers and layers of primer, paint, and clear coat. Yeah, there's a little bit of a pinch there. So that's correctable with some filing. I think we can get that down. And then of course I have plenty of this color since it was just straight out of a Tamiya jar. X-34, by the way. So we'll do that a little pop. And then the way they have the hinges on this is actually kind of cool. So you just lift it up and then finesse it ever so gently, and then it comes right off. So that's kind of nice. I did not do the interior of the engine compartment black. I've seen a lot of photographs where this is all supposed to be black inside here. I thought that was just too much black. I thought we'll just leave a body color. It's an awesome color anyway. It doesn't have gloss coat in there, so it doesn't have the shininess of the body and everything. So it kind of gives us the idea that somebody's done some work up inside there, and polished out the paint, but hasn't polished out the engine compartment. So we're going to take the camera off tripod and then do a freehand of the engine compartment. Okay, so we're freehand here for the engine compartment. And I like my green top batteries, so We did another one of those with the little yellow caps on top. I like how that looks, gives it some nice visual interest, I think. The key thing about this engine compartment is it's a large scale kit, but it does get small on space fast, especially when you have the blower motor on. But the thing is, when I was doing final assembly, we put the interior tub in, and then we married the body to the chassis. Before we got working on the engine compartment, I recognized that we need to leave out the firewall and we needed to leave out the radiator because of the fit issues that we were going to have. Now, Dan had been our windsock on that. He let us know there will be some fit issues and stuff getting that all together, and it was quite a fight. So it just sort of dawned on me, leave the firewall out, leave the radiator out, and I think the instructions tell us to put all that stuff in there. But I kind of thought, let's just leave it out and see how it goes. The firewall is just a drop-down fit, and I think the first thing we did was we got the radiator installed, and that's epoxied in place also because that wasn't going to cooperate. It seemed like it was under some pressure and it kept wanting to spring back into the engine compartment. So we epoxied it to the core support, and that seemed to fix that issue. And then we went and installed the firewall. That seemed to just slip down in place. We did have to finagle it around the distributor just a little bit because that does look like it's touching there. But we got that fit in there pretty good. And then once we had that in place, we were able to discern how that stupid steering gear box is supposed to fit in there. Whoa, past my mark there. We go. So we finally got the steering box in there and kind of wedged in just right. Got some glue on there. I'm calling it done. That was sort of a head scratcher. The instructions ask us to, I think, attach it to the firewall and then put the body on the chassis, some weird thing like that just didn't make any sense. But it also didn't tell us exactly where to attach all that. So once we got the body on the chassis and the firewall in place, it was a little more apparent how that was supposed to go together. So that's just a tip there. We did like doing our own little, see if we can get close enough to see that. There we go. Our little hose clamps on some of our hoses. That's just some bent up wire. And at this scale, bending the wire was pretty straightforward, rather easy for us to do. So we went ahead and did it. So we got little clamps on all of our little hoses. The kit comes with vinyl heater hoses, excuse me. It does come with vinyl heater hoses. And then I went and did my own fuel lines. I kind of like how that looks. And then the kit does come with its own ignition wiring. There are templates in the instructions on how to cut the lengths and everything, and we seemed like we had just enough to do what we needed to do. I was thinking about doing a different color wire, but I couldn't find anything in the right gauge. I didn't feel like hunting for months looking for the right type of gauge wiring and stuff, so we just went with what the kit offered. I decided to do a blue cap because I remember a lot of GM cars that I worked on with my dad as a kid, they all had blue caps on there, the aftermarket caps. So did that. What else did we do here? Oh, we did a little bit of light weathering on the air intake tube to help that look more authentic, I guess is the best way to do that. I do want to do a little bit more weathering on the engine bay. This looks just a little too clean for a firewall. So that might be on the horizon. But for right now, I'm really pleased with how that turned out and how it looks. The little extra detail, not much, but it does help it out because some guys have commented and said, yeah, when it's this large of a scale, adding in just a little bit of extra detail sure helps out the kit a lot. So we'll take a pull back here and just give you a nice top shot there. I do want to say thank you to Mr. Papa Dan for encouraging us and inspiring us to do this build with him. That was a lot of fun for us. And it's been a hell of a year. I tell you what, guys, there was times when I had to just set this aside and walk away for a month at a time, mostly because we were just overwhelmed with what was going on in the world as well as what was going on with this build. But it's done, and I'm actually very, very happy with how it turned out. I do need to find some place to display this because I went to Hobby Lobby and bought their biggest display case and it's still too small. So I may have to look into doing some custom work done, have some custom work done for a case. But, you know, that's first world problems. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along, because we started this back in February, so it's been an extremely long build for us especially, and I appreciate all the great comments and support. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. Bye now.